Hey guys, good morning to the intrepid persons who are interested in viewing this trial, which is not high on the public radar, at least right now. Maybe it won't be, but you can see I've got the stream queued up for when it starts. And I did do some research last night, listening to earlier parts of the trial, but also looking up some of the legal documents, and primarily on the issue of entrapment, because that's been, I think, the divide in the public thoughts about this case, but also important legally. Did the FBI overstep and basically create this situation and then arrest people who were disgruntled but wouldn't have done anything or come up with this plot by themselves? That's one idea, and it was presented in some of the cases. So we'll take a look at that as we move along. And I will tell you that yesterday in the chat, somebody told me that, hey, look, they can't talk about entrapment in this current case. And so I put that up, and I agree with that. I looked at it last night, so I can provide some more details on how that occurred. Some of these cases were in federal court. Some of them were in state court. And the entrapment defense is different in federal court than it is in state court in Michigan. Michigan has a minority view called an objective standard for entrapment. And basically the way it's normally handled is the judge will handle it. So if the defense wants to raise entrapment, the judge has an evidentiary hearing and can decide as a matter of law whether entrapment occurred or not. It's less clear whether, or at least to me at this point, whether the jury could have a role in it or not. And I don't think I'm totally wrong on that, because I read the prosecution's argument in the current case for why they should not be able to argue entrapment, that they had not raised that as a potential defense. But even if the judge thought they should be able to do it, here was a potential instruction to the jury. So the judge, though, from what I understand, came back and granted the state's motion and said, in fact, since we're waiting, let me see if I can pull up the document and I'll show it to you. Because looking at the document yourself is always good. Let's see. Share screen. All right, let me stop that one first. Here we go. So the state told the court in this case, none of the defendants in this case have formally asserted that they were entrapped as a matter of law, or asked this court to conduct an entrapment hearing to determine whether they were entrapped as a matter of law. Pretrial failure to raise the defense before this court should preclude defendants from attempting to raise the defense before the jury, whether they use the word entrapment or otherwise argue to the jury that the government and or its agents manufactured or instigated the crimes committed by defendants. All right, the court's going live, so I'm going to switch back over to that. And they're just talking a little bit, so I'll turn it down for now. So that was the state's argument in this case, that the defense had not even brought up entrapment, asked the court to consider it, and therefore the court shouldn't. And I think the court agreed with that and said, hey, it wasn't raised, so I'm not going to allow it to happen in this case. If there was any more argument about it, I don't know. I did see in the federal case, the defendants asked the court to throw the case out for entrapment, and the judge in that case said, the evidence isn't clear enough either way for me to decide this is a matter of law. So there was a jury instruction in the federal case for entrapment. And you probably know in the first trial, there were 2 people acquitted, and then 2 people, there was a hung jury. So there was no success for the government there, but they retried 2 of the guys and got convictions. In the state court case that has already occurred before this set of defendants, they did argue entrapment, and the judge found that it did not exist. So that didn't help them there. But in this case, which is slightly odd, the state says that the defense did not make a motion to argue entrapment, did not ask for an evidentiary hearing. I'm not sure why that would be the case here, even if it hadn't been successful in the other state case. The federal judge allowed the jury instruction for it, even though he didn't give the defense the scope of evidence they wanted. And I don't know if we'll get a chance to do this or not, but I did look at some of the things that the defense said were actions that they considered entrapment. So basically, you know, entrapment is the government creates the crime, kind of is the situation. That they do more than provide the opportunity. They create or implant this disposition in the mind of a person not otherwise inclined to commit a crime to commit the crime. They kind of get them to do it. And some methods of that are okay and some aren't. And, you can go along with it. You can provide the opportunity and other things like that. But if you're the one running the show and creating the whole conspiracy and stuff, as the defense has said in other cases related to this, then in theory that could be entrapment. It just hasn't worked as a formal matter. I don't know if it played a role in the first decision that the federal jury had where they didn't return guilty verdicts. It could have been an issue. But here the defense said, look, some of the confidential agents were the ones driving this, telling us, hey, if you don't want to kidnap her, at least shoot at her house. It's kind of a poking them with a stick, do something. This is the defense side of the facts. That these guys were, big talkers. They were upset like a lot of people were. They weren't really going to do this. And the government had a lot of momentum to try and get this going and get some kind of case against at least some of these people. So they encouraged their confidential informants and agents to push this. This is the defense theory. And those confidential informants did do that, they say. And, there's certainly some statements that I read in the formal pleadings that have not been shown in this case so far by Big Dan, the confidential informant Dan, where he was like, maybe we could shoot this. And of course, you probably know he was the one driving them around. I did see the defense say that for one of these meetups they did, that the guys were too broke to go or whatever, couldn't put the money together, and that he paid for the gas and tolls and maybe even the hotel rooms. So that's getting out there a little bit, isn't it? So I guess my stance would be, and maybe you don't disagree with this, that if you are plotting to kidnap or murder government officials, that's going to be breaking the law. Whether you like the government or not, that's always going to be against the law. The government's never going to have that be against the law, and you shouldn't do it. On the other hand, you don't want your government, with its huge resources, throwing money and time at people who are just disgruntled and then cajoling them into a conspiracy to commit some kind of violence that they would never otherwise do, and then put them in prison for it, and then applaud themselves for doing that. And I'm still no expert on this case, so I'm not saying one way or the other in this case for sure, but that has happened before, and cases have been thrown out plenty of times by the government, basically pushing that too far. And that's different than using informants to solve a crime or to bust a dangerous conspiracy, which of course, I think everybody would, or most people would support those kind of activities. But there's a line there, and if you cross it, then the court can say that's too far. This is not justice to prosecute like this. That's basically the nut of the entrapment defense in Michigan. But it is interesting that in Michigan, they use this objective test, and they kind of lean on the judge to make the decision whether entrapment occurred or not more than they would the jury. And in a federal case, the judge put it to the jury. But I think there's still some room for evolution of this law in Michigan. Just reading the state's brief that, hey, judge, you shouldn't let this in. But if you do let it in, you have this jury instruction and stuff. If it were that clear, they wouldn't need to equivocate so much. Right. So let's get some. All right, I'm way out here in the boonies, so if somebody wants to tell me what Radix is, I don't know why that's bad that it was shut down. I'll have to Google it if I don't know. And, good morning back to Florida from a cloudy Raleigh. Looking out the window. I gotta look it up. You guys have got me curious about what this is. Oh, covering this case? Interesting. What's wrong with covering it?
What's that going to be? 266. Sure. No, I'm gonna make it tear it open.
See what I can look up on that. Going to turn the cord up.
Let's get back on the record in the file. 5165-FH, day 2. Mr. Wilson, let me start with you. Anything that we need to talk about before bringing the jury back?
No, sir.
Mr. Nuzzi?
No, thank you, Your Honor.
Mr. Ryan?
No, thank you, Your Honor.
Mr. Warren? Thank you, Your Honor. Okay. All rise for the jury. Everyone will be seated. Welcome back. Everyone had a nice evening. Does anyone have anything you need to report? Okay. And I apologize. I forgot to give you the instruction last night, though I know obviously we've been doing this for a couple of days. And so I'll give it to you now in case I forget this evening. Just make sure, a reminder to leave all of the paperwork that you have on the table. Paper upside down. That just has to remain here. Thank you. And with that, you'll recall that we're still in the prosecution's case in chief. Mr. Olson.
Thank you, Judge. Mr. Emple.
Before you take a seat, you swear that the testimony you're about to provide will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. I do.
Thank you, Judge. Good morning.
Good morning.
I think we left off yesterday. We were talking a little bit about the daytime surveillance, and I'd like to move in a little bit different direction now. You have proposed exhibit number 266 there in front of you. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Can you tell the ladies and gentlemen on the jury what that is?
This is the physical exhibit for the RF detector found in Eric Molitor's car.
On what date?
October 7th, 2020.
And was there a search warrant that allowed for that search?
Yes.
Okay, and it seems to be in some type of plastic bag. Is that correct?
Yes.
Why is that?
It's an evidence bag.
Okay, so that is the actual RF detector. Is that correct?
Yes.
Move for admission of 266, please.
So the specs of this were subject to a lot of objections yesterday. It came in, and now I guess they're cleaning that up by actually bringing the object in.
Judge, there's no comment. Thank you.
Mr. Martin.
You know, I think he said it was by search warrant, my understanding was by consent.
Okay, well, I think that discussion has been had before. I think the search warrant was obtained, if I understood the testimony correctly, and that may also prevent consent given. The jury served that, so I think that's sufficient. Any objections to the motion? Okay, 266 will be.
Thank you. Can you open that up and take that out of the bag, please?
Sure.
We'll get to see this cool RF detector.
I have it here.
Okay, and just describe for the record basically what you're holding in your left hand.
So this is the RF detector that we found in Eric Molitor's house. This is the wand for detecting radio frequencies.
And did that change your approach investigatively at all?
Yes, absolutely.
Not a big question.
Yes, absolutely.
Tell us how.
We had to purchase radios handheld radios and give them to the undercovers and informant at the training, because we were worried that without the ability to have transmitting devices on them, we wouldn't have any way to know if they were in trouble or not. So I went to Home Depot and I purchased 4 radios and gave them to Undercover Red, Undercover Mark, CHS Dan, and then I kept one for myself so that we'd always have a way to communicate because of the operational security at the Luther FTX.
Okay. Let's move to the Luther FTX if we could now.
The old Home
And I'll
Depot
take that
surveillance equipment aisle.
Remind us the dates of the Luther FTX.
The training was for the 11th through the 13th, so 12th I'm sorry, some people got up there on the 11th, but the training was on the 12th and the 13th, so it's Saturday and Sunday.
And remind us again who owned the property.
That was Ty Garbin's hunting property.
Okay. And I'm going to show you, or rather I'd ask that you turn to proposed exhibit 163 in your exhibit book there.
I have it here.
Okay. Can you describe what that is for us, please?
This is a photograph of the shooting range being built in Luther on Ty Garbin's hunting property.
Okay. How did you come into possession of that?
It was sent by Ty Garbin to the Wolverine Watchman on wire, which we were live monitoring via access through Dan's wire account.
And when did Mr. Garbin send that?
That was on August 28th, 2020.
And generally describe what the photo shows us.
The photo showed us sand and plywood that were used to construct the shooting range in the weeks and months prior to the FTX.
Okay. Move for admission of 163, please.
In terms of knowledge of the fairness and accuracy of the photograph.
Sure. Is that, does the photograph accurately reflect what Mr. Garbin posted?
Yes, it does.
Renew my motion, please.
As to the scene,
Oh, as to the scene on the Luther property.
Yes, it does.
Okay.
Mr. Mundy, Mr. Seiler?
We'd say that are objections.
Mr. Darnett? No objections, no questions. Okay, 163 will be admitted.
Thank you. Describe for us what we're seeing here, Agent Impla.
So this is the sand here that was put there in the shooting range. These are shooting stands, so you can put targets on them. And then these are plywood and like lumber, old lumber, stacked up with sand behind it for like a backstop, makeshift backstop at the shooting range.
Okay. Can you propose exhibit 164 in your book, please?
I have it here.
And can you describe what that is?
Sure. This is a panoramic photograph posted on wire by Dan Harris, aka Beaker, a member of the Wolverine Watchman, from August 8th, 2020.
And the photograph, what does it depict?
It's zoomed out a little bit from the past photograph that we just looked at from Ty Garbin, and it shows tires that were brought up on a trailer by the Wolverine Watchman as they were prepping the shooting range.
And remind us, Ty Garbin, was he a member of the Wolverine Watchman?
Ty Garbin was, and Dan Harris was, who posted this.
Okay. And when did Dan Harris post this?
August 8th.
Okay. And accurately depict the
I
scene
still say
there?
that's the craziest witness
Okay,
stand
move
I've
for
ever
admission of
seen.
164, please.
Mr. Nuzik? Mr. Shannon?
We stand on the written objections.
Mr. Barnes? Okay. This is the full lead.
Okay. Again, describe for us what we're seeing here and,
So this picture is actually taken 20 days earlier as they were still building it up from the last picture, and it's zoomed out. So this is the makeshift plywood backstop here. This is some more sand that was brought in.
I don't know if
And
this is
these
just
are
supposed to be a
tires,
shooting bay or
that
at the
were
start of the
acquired from
shoot
down
house
here
or
in
what
Detroit and hauled
so
up on
far.
a trailer.
what's the purpose of the tires?
To stop any ricochets and to be kind of a general, keep people out of the shooting range.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. Can you, 165, proposed exhibit 165, can you tell us what that is?
Sure. That is a video sent on Facebook Messenger from August 1st, 2020. It's a video taken by Caleb Franks while he's up preparing the Luther property. He's got a tractor and he's taking a picture of Ty Garbin on a tractor as Ty Garbin's moving some dirt around.
Yeah.
The,
this is live.
how did you come into possession of that?
Caleb Franks sent it on Facebook Messenger.
Okay. And, so that was, it came from a Facebook account,
That's correct.
and did you have a search warrant for that?
I did, but I obtained this through consent from CHS Dan's account.
Tell us a little bit more about that, please.
Sure. So just like Wire, I was able to log in through CHS Dan's account, Facebook, and monitor communications. And then when CHS Dan received evidence, he would tell me about it or provide it to me, and that's what this is.
Okay. Let me just stop there for a minute. When you're looking on Wire or Signal or Threema or Facebook through Dan's account, do you ever add any content?
No.
Okay, why not?
Well, that'd be dangerous. So Dan is talking to these people live. So anytime he's interacting live, if I say something and he's surprised and he didn't actually say it, that would put him in danger.
Yeah,
So that's
that
not
makes sense.
part of the undercover operation.
Going back to proposed exhibit 165, does the video accurately depict the scene?
Yes, it does.
I'm going to move for admission to 165, please.
I guess I showed a little video of the shooting bay.
We stand on the written objections.
Don't check, I just know the evidence what we received. Skip 165, usually there's a one sheet in there. Video. And so 164, 166.
No. 165 will be in.
That's it.
Okay, who's the driver of the tractor again?
That's Ty Garbin, Gunny.
And remind us, please, when this was posted by Mr. Franks.
So that was August 1st,
Okay.
2020.
And the date of the Luther, the FTX that was held on that property again was,
That was September 11th through the 13th.
okay. All right, moving along to proposed exhibit number 166, please. Can you look at that in your book?
Oh, yes, I have it here.
And generally describe what that is.
Looks like he's about
This
two-thirds
is-
of the way through his book.
A wire post
If he only
by
go through one
Ty
book.
Garbin from August 27th. And this is the itinerary or the schedule of the weekend training.
Okay, and how was it obtained?
Is obtained via logging into Dan's Wire account and then capturing that when Ty Garbin sent out the training itinerary.
Okay, accurately depict the post by Mr. Garvin.
Yes, sir.
Move for admission of 166, please.
Mr. Nuzik? Mr. Sacker?
We stand on the written objections.
Mr. Barnes?
Okay.
166 will be.
What do we see here, Agent Employ?
So this is a photograph of a computer. So on this one, it was actually zoomed out a little bit and it was smaller. And I cropped out and zoomed in so we could read it and then added the black box.
Okay, can you work us through from the top of the document, please?
Sure. So Pat Garvin posted the training schedule from 1200 to 1400 was the meet and greet. From 1400 to 1600 was the 3 station classes with medical, dry fire, shoot house, dry fire, weapon manipulation. 16 to 1630, food and water break. 1630 to 1800, go live. 1800 to 1900, go over movement and tracking in different environments. 1900 to 2000, dinner. And then we've got from 2000 to 2100, so 8 to 9 o'clock, small game of adult hide and seek. Day 2, wake and meet time roughly 9:30, 9:30 to 10:30 food, 10:30 to 12:30 more dry fire, 12:30 to 13:30 go live, 13:30 to 16:30 eat, open discussions, pack up and head out.
Going back to the second, third line at the top there, what is a dry fire shoot house?
Oh, right here. So the shoot house is what was alternatively described the kill house. So in this case, it was tarps that were stationed, and it's a mock residence that you can practice going through hallways, entering rooms.
Okay, and dry fire, what does that mean?
That means you don't have ammunition in your gun. You go through with your weapon without having any ammo in it.
Okay, and dry fire weapon manipulation, what does that mean?
So that's general weapon manipulation, such as tactical reloading or transitioning from your primary rifle to a secondary handgun, or movement under fire, moving, shooting.
Okay, can you turn to proposed exhibit 167 in your book, please?
Yes, I have it here.
Can you tell us what that is?
So this is a wire conversation. This is a 2-pager here. It's between Adam Fox and Eric Molitor.
And how was it obtained?
This was obtained via search warrant and a review of Adam Fox's phone.
Generally describe the nature of the communication.
These are messages from Adam Fox telling Eric Molitor there's 3 successive messages to make sure he brings his RF detector
To what?
to the Luther FTX.
Okay. Move for admission of 167, please.
So I guess they want that there either to test it or to actually check and see if somebody's transmitting from there,
If we stand on the written objections, so
Mr. Garner.
or both.
Your Honor, to how it's categorized, it has to bring it to the FTX, it has to bring it to Walmart, 10 to 10:30 in the morning. Putting it here a little later, that's on the track, that just, like the records to reflect it's not a request to take.
Well, 167 will be admitted, obviously the text of the staff will speak for themselves.
Okay, Agent Empla, from top to bottom, if you can work us through this exhibit, please.
Sure. So the first statement here from Alpha Fox, that's Adam Fox, is awesome. Give me till Monday, I'll get everyone added to the chat. Then the date here is Monday, September 7th. Adam Fox states, bring your security toy to FTX, please. We need to use it. Meeting at Walmart, I'm Cadillac, 10 to 10:30 a.m. Saturday morning. We'll carpool in with trucks. Barricade, that's Eric Molitor's handle, stated, will do, Saturday, 10 to 10:30, copy that. Then on Wednesday, September 9th, 2020, Adam Fox stated, "What up, bro? Hey, make sure you bring that scanning device, bro." Then on Thursday, September 10th, Eric Molitor stated, "Hey man, I got ya."
Yeah, he did say it was 2 pages long.
This is a continuation now, second page of the exhibit.
There it is.
On Friday, September 11th, 2020, Adam Fox stated, "What's up? We on our way, RN. Gonna need that device you have tomorrow morning in the Walmart parking lot."
So it's interesting their
Eric Molitor
communications
stated,
about
"See you there."
attempting
Adam
to check
Fox
to see if
stated,
they were being
"Okay.
monitored were actually
Gonna be
being
around
monitored.
noon now, bro. Queue running late." Eric Molitor stated, "Thank you. Copy that."
Was, do you have any audio of any meeting at the Walmart on that Saturday?
Yes.
Okay, and tell us about that.
Sure. CHS Dan was at the Walmart with Adam Fox, and he arrived. Eric Molitor was waiting at the Walmart, and Eric Molitor provided his RF detector and showed Adam Fox how it worked, turned it on, and told him that he tested the camera capabilities on his phone, and it worked with the lens on the phone. Then he also stated that it would detect any radio frequencies going in and out as he was demonstrating the device.
Okay. Turn to page, or proposed exhibit 168 in your book, please.
Got something cooking right now that's distracting me a lot. So I don't know if I'm going to be able to say anything on this right now.
All in due time, Judge.
All in due time.
There will be an audio recording at some point.
I anticipate that, yes, Judge.
I couldn't hear what you said.
He said yes.
Anyway, I think what I need to do is go handle this, and I may come back later on. So
Thank you, Judge.
if you want to keep watching
Are
this
you at
trial
168?
and see what's going on,
I
it's
am.
up
Okay,
north
can you
live
tell
is
ladies
the
and
channel
gentlemen,
that's
the
streaming it
jury,
directly.
what that is?
This is a
If I can
three-pager.
come back to it,
This is
I will.
Facebook records,
I got something I
and
got to
this
do.
is
Sorry about that. Thanks, guys, for
group
tuning in.
chat.
Bye.
Describe the